episode of the What If Projector podcast.
Yeah, hey.
And, okay, so biggest news coming out right now is the Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah.
Destiny just been released. A few games being hyped up for end of the year. Let's start off with Destiny.
Let's get right to it. Well, everyone stopped talking about that really quick, haven't they?
Yeah, it's a bit quick, because I remember, I don't know if it was on this podcast, but I remember us saying 2012, actually, like when the name was released. Like, that's all that was released. They said, we've got a name, it's Destiny,
Yeah.
it's kind of like Halo, and pre-orders basically started happening then.
Yeah.
Like, people have been waiting 2 years for this. It's one of the most hyped games, like, ever.
Yeah, it's got the highest budget ever.
500 million.
Yeah, granted, more of that went to, what was it, advertisement?
Yeah, a lot of that is a marketing budget,
Yeah.
which is fair enough. But still, like,
half a billion.
Yeah, but and to be fair, it made its money back. Monetarily, it succeeded. It's already got its money back. It's making more money now.
Yeah.
It's a success. They're planning the sequels. No one seems particularly amazed by it. Like, the best I've heard is, like, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, no one said, oh my god, this is the Star Wars of video games. They've not said it's the next Halo by any stretch. They've just said it's a decent sci-fi shooter.
Yeah.
Which seems quite disappointing, I'd think.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people just say it's pretty much Halo with just a different setting. And even then, the setting is still very similar. We said a while ago that when we weren't all that hyped for Destiny, like we called a lot of the things that were happening with it. It was just like, it's going to release, no one's really going to care. It's not going to be that great, if you ask me.
Yeah, some people said less the critics. You know, the more the user reviews have been that it's really good and that they really, really enjoy it. But yeah, I haven't heard anyone really considering it revolutionary. Like, because that was the big thrust of it is like, you can't put a label on it, man. It's so different and new. And then as soon as it comes out, it's like, it's basically Halo with WoW's leveling system.
Yeah.
And that's about it. And, like, you have to grind a lot, which doesn't sound fun to me. Like, and the story's not really very good. You can customize your character, I guess, but it has...
First-person mode.
Yeah, you're in first person, so you don't see it. It's not like WoW, where
you can
it.
be in third person when you're in a lobby, when you're
Yeah,
waiting
I saw that,
missions.
which... I don't know why they didn't just implement that option the
I know,
whole
I wish
thing,
you could've
because
switched it.
I'd play it third person.
I know, the armor all looks so cool.
Yeah,
it seems like such a waste of art design.
Yeah, I guess it's mainly to show off to other people. Speaking of the art design, it's so unmemorable, I think. Like, I mean, it looks good when you see it, but you couldn't really, like with Master Chief. Master Chief is like a perfect design. Like, you could draw Master Chief after seeing him
yellow
once.
visor, green armor, black gun.
Yeah, it's all very clear, very easy to remember. But Destiny, it's just like, I think they have hoods.
Yeah,
and like
it's
kind
very
of slim.
clear that there was a lot of artists working on it.
It's the same kind of problem that happened with Assassin's Creed later on. It's just they brought on so many writers and so many game developers that no one had any kind of clear vision, and it like you couldn't, like, who's the director of Destiny?
I don't know.
Exactly. You know, it's not like Iwata or like Kojima, like, heading something and having a clear vision.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, sure, it's Bungie, but, like, that's the only mark of quality, really, on it.
I honestly can't think who directed Halo 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Me neither. It seems quite strange. It's one of those things of the game industry where auteurs aren't really noticed for their work, which...
Kind of the studio as a whole.
Yeah, no, it's just meant to be the studio, but yeah, I think that's really annoying. But it does kind of cap off exactly what we were kind of predicting with
with the hype train.
Yeah, Watch Dogs, Titanfall, Destiny, the three, and to be
Holy Trinity.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's kind of our fault as gamers, because a lot of people, especially for the new generation, were saying that we need new franchises.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those franchises were getting quite old, you know? And, like, everyone's saying, oh, come on, we can't just keep adding numbers to these franchises, come up with something new.
Yeah.
And they come out with something new, hype the shit out of it, and we're all disappointed.
Who knows? Maybe that will start to slow down, because there have slowly been more IPs starting to trickle in. So,
Oh yeah, no, like say Bloodborne, I think is getting more hype from the user side of it. Like, it's not necessarily being marketed ridiculously, but it's getting a lot of user hype.
Yeah.
Which, I think that's good, you know, that's...
People are excited, but they're not going Destiny level of excitement, which is a healthy amount.
Yeah, Destiny was in it was in the public eye for, like, nearly 2 years.
Yeah, and the entire time people were saying, this is going to change everything. And the whole time we were like, really? Because it looks like Halo.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
looks just like Halo. You just go to Mars and stuff.
Yeah, you go to Mars, you go to Venus.
I know.
Peter Dinklage talks about the moon and how wizards come from it.
Sounds really bored.
Yeah,
I mean, with Bloodborne, there's something there. There's an interesting idea that's gotten me interested. With Destiny, it's like you can go to Venus and Mars and you fight enemy swarms of aliens. Okay, yeah. So what's the interesting bit? And that's apparently what's supposed to hook me, that you can go to different planets, all that. I do, like, we haven't played it yet, so maybe we're coming off like arseholes, but...
I've seen like playthroughs, and I've seen all the lore for it, and the lore has something to it. Like, I can kind of see, like, because there's this thing called the Traveller, and it gave humanity this golden age, and that's cool.
Yeah, the Traveller is definitely the coolest idea I've heard about it so far. But, oh my god, the names. They did... Yeah. Whoever came up with the names, they didn't care. They didn't care. The Swarm, the Hive, the Crucible, the Tower, the Wall.
Yeah. The Guardian.
The Guardian, the Warlock, the Titan.
Yeah. The Ghost.
The Ghost. These are all actual names in the thing.
Yeah, all of it, it's very... And I get that is a naming convention that a lot of people used to be iconic. Like, just add the and, a word.
The Wall.
Yeah, I mean, come on, we're writing a graphic novel, but at least we have the decency to put our stupid names in Latin or something so you don't necessarily hear them all the time.
Yeah. It really is just like a poster child for this is what happens when you overhype a game. Because I do think, because I still want to get it, I do think it will be fun, but... it's not going to measure up to 2 years worth of people saying it's going to be the end-all game, because like, I guarantee you, let's say it Destiny had the marketing of Bloodborne, where it's a reasonable amount, no one's crazy over it, and let's say, I don't know, it was made by a whole different team. I guarantee you people will be saying, yeah, that was a pretty good game, but there's a lot of people who hate Destiny, hate it.
Well, this is what happens. Like, the hype has caused a backlash.
Yeah, because the same thing, well, not the same thing, but with The Last of Us, people hated it because everybody loved it. They just hated it because people were having fun and loving it.
Well, with Destiny, like, I've seen a lot of reviews that have said it's a perfectly decent game. It's well made. The mechanics are all functional. The design is okay.
Yeah.
The voice acting's not special, but hey. And they've given it, like, decent scores, but then they've said, look, we had to knock a few points off because there's been too much hype.
Yeah, that hype will unfortunately affect how you perceive something as much as you don't want it to. It can affect you in some way. Like, you can hate it because everyone else around you has said it will be the best thing ever, or obviously just your own expectations won't live up to something that's had 500 million thrown at it in terms of marketing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll get better as they go. Like,
they're definitely planning, like, although they have said there's going to be a trilogy, a franchise, they said that they're going to build upon the first game and really, like, stretch out its lifespan.
Yeah, I just kind of wish that these, Titanfall and Watch Dogs included, I just wish that they'd actually had a decent story, because, like, Titanfall and Destiny are both kind of the same, where they've got this big online component, and they very clearly added the story kind of as an afterthought. They had the lore. They had, I mean, Titanfall doesn't really have lore. It's giant robots in parkour.
They thought of the setting to justify parkour and robots.
Yeah, they didn't really have lore for that, but they didn't come up with story. There's no central character. There's no central storyline, and I know that a lot of people think that that's not the important part, because obviously the big reason why multiplayer is big is because they want people to hold on to their games.
Yeah. And
with multiplayer is an infinite resource, whereas a single player storyline ends, and that's where a lot of people trade in their games.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see better efforts than the shit they've been putting out so far.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, just quick water break.
Yeah.
We're going to be going for probably like an hour, so we've got to keep these well oiled.
I mean, in terms of other games, I'm kind of falling perhaps into the Destiny trap here, but with Final Fantasy. That game's been going for quite a while. Final Fantasy 15 is being hyped for quite a while, and it's got people's names behind it, but it's just we don't really know anything much about it, but I am kind of really hyped for it.
Yeah, it does look pretty rad.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy 15, initially called Final Fantasy 13 Versus, then Final Fantasy 14, and then they made an online game instead. And
the online game happened far before it, but it was an absolutely god-awful release.
Yeah.
And then they completely fixed everything, and everyone loved that game.
Yeah.
It was a functioning game.
Yeah, but Final Fantasy 15, a lot of people have complained it kind of doesn't look stupid enough. It seems to be the complaint. Like, a lot of people have said, like, oh my god, they're wearing shirts and pants and trousers and they're driving cars. What the fuck is this?
It's recognizable.
Why is their hair not sticking 3 feet out to the side of their ears? I mean, they seem to be really concerned that the game does not look stupid enough.
Yeah, let's never forget that guy from Final Fantasy X with the huge blue hair antler horn things.
Yeah. Oh god.
Like, I don't. Say what you want about 13. That was the dumbest design. That guy.
Yeah.
And then there's the woman who can shoot a dog off of her wrist-mounted catapult thing. It was very stupid.
Yeah, no, the series has been pretty dumb, but they actually have cars. They have a mafia, so that's something that could be related to in real life.
Yeah, like Goodfellas.
They've got a mafia. I mean, the mafia is protecting magical items, but whatever. Right?
You can say magical items instead of guns and drugs.
And like they've got a royal family. Like you're playing like the son of the royalty.
Yeah.
The architecture's still pretty crazy, and they've got giant monsters. But yeah, the main characters actually look like fucking human beings, and I really like that. You know, and
it looks. I'm hoping it will be a road trip game with your bros.
Yeah, there's this whole trailer was basically just
road again.
It's just him like sleeping in the car while his friends drive and shit, and just like
I don't know. I might be wrong, but I think I remember like hearing or seeing some like brief dialogue of them saying that they're on the run or something like that, and like maybe they had to leave the mafia.
I think that's what's if you saw the demo, then their house got attacked and they had to run from it. So that's all interesting. But and also the gameplay doesn't look turn-based in any way, which would be a huge departure. Because Final Fantasy's been moving away from turn-based for quite a while.
I don't know how to feel about that, because on one hand I know that will disappoint a lot of people because that series started turn-based, but on the other hand, Kingdom Hearts has proven that it can work having strategy mixed in with hack and slash.
It's quite hard to do because Final Fantasy's been trying to do it for several games now, and Final Fantasy 13 didn't necessarily do it right for a lot of people. Like you could almost auto attack for everything.
Yeah.
And I can see that if they wanted to just move away from that entirely, I wouldn't be surprised. But there are games that can mix RPG elements like that, where
Kingdom Hearts, I said, it does it right, where you have the hack and slash, but then you can mix in I want to use spells or potions and items and so on.
Yeah, no, but all the gameplay so far has pretty much been just hack.
Yeah, I really like that idea that they throw the sword and then they can light jump to the handle, so they could throw it onto a building and then they light jump to it and then they're hanging off the hilt of it.
That's really cool, and it kind of breaks away from what Final Fantasy 13 was, which was just a long hallway. So that's good.
Big wide open spaces with monsters that you can just hack and slash.
Yeah, and the monsters look really creatively designed. I love the architecture of things.
They've only shown a few monsters. There's that sort of chimera looking thing, and then there's that big thing where they're driving. It's oh my god, that's its face! And it looks like one of the colossi from Shadow of the Colossus.
I love that, and they look like Godzilla. They look like
they
Godzilla
look pretty
size.
cool, but I wouldn't say it looks amazing monster wise so far.
No,
I haven't seen enough.
Yeah. It's realistic enough to where I feel comfortable going into it. With Final Fantasy 13, it's just so off-putting. everything is so weird to the point of just like there's a guy with a bird in his afro and like space train and they're on a space station or something and it's so confusing for like hours on end looking through it.
Really, the design don't confuse me that much in 13. I wasn't like, oh, this is too crazy for me. I mean, yeah, the characters look weird, but the enemies you fight, I wouldn't say it that weird.
I mean, like Buzzsaw robot, like
except for him,
yeah,
he looks pretty dumb.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there.
But the rest of them, they all just like, oh, it's science fiction, fantasy, suits of armor, guys with guns, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy has a love-hate relationship with reality, and it'd be hey, it's enough to get me to jump on with the series.
It's certainly better because, I mean, like I said earlier, if this game doesn't get their money back, then they could be done.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. Square is just constantly teetering on the edge of collapse, and
Seven saved them because I think the 2 games before that underperformed.
Yeah,
and then they must have lost a lot of money.
Well, no, yeah, because they made the movie.
They made the film, yeah.
Yeah, Final Fantasy Spirit Within, which had nothing to do with Final Fantasy. Pissed a lot of people off. They didn't get their money back, and
for a while,
and it's like, oh shit! And then they made
10. That made boatloads of cash.
Yeah, 10 was the big. I mean, 8 and 9, or at least 8, did well. But
people liked them, but they didn't make the money they needed. But yeah, they're in a big hole.
Yeah, 10 made them some big money. Then they spent that on Advent Children, which did not make money.
Yep.
And then they made 13, and 13 made them money. So.
Yes. Oh, and they also had the Final Fantasy, what now we know as Final Fantasy Online 14 or whatever. Yeah. That lost them a lot of money.
Yeah. So that they are, and obviously Tomb Raider, which sold over 5 million copies, but still, that's not enough to win back its budget. So
Hitman sold 4 million, didn't make their money back. Sleeping Dogs sold, I think, 4 point something million. It's because they just spend so much money.
Yeah, you can see it in the games. They look beautiful, but goddamn, Square, just save your cash a little bit. It's just...
I know, it's so difficult for me, because on one hand, 15 just looks so pretty.
It does.
The lighting at night looks phenomenal, but I'm like, guys, this is a really dangerous game you're playing.
They've been at this for 6 goddamn years.
I know. There's only so many times you can play where you can spin the revolver.
It was 8. They've been doing this since 2006.
Oh yeah.
They've been doing this for 8 years, and the director just left after 8 years of working.
So they could focus on Kingdom Hearts 3, which I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's a fair choice, but goddamn, Duke Nukem was at this edge, at one point, where, okay, Duke Nukem was never going to be good, but...
Yeah, I mean, it was being passed around like a rotten potato, really.
Yeah, it's just...
Far more than a hot potato.
Yeah, nobody... Yeah, at that point, it's a big question mark of if it will be good, because a whole console generation has come and gone. Literally. The PS3 and the Xbox 360 were new when they started. So, and now, those are old consoles, so they've been pouring money at this. I want it to be good.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, I'm worried, no matter how good it is, even if they sell 10 million copies, they may not make their money back.
They're playing a risky game almost constantly. And
yeah, they are.
It's just not good business.
Yeah.
I mean, bottom line, we hope the game's good. We hope it sells well. So, because
I
mean, we don't want an entire company of people to go out of work.
No.
That would suck ass.
I mean, it's happened a lot in the game industry at this point.
Oh,
so, yeah, we don't need another one. But what are the other big games that you were looking at?
I am getting really excited now for The Evil Within. It's weird. When it first got announced, I was like, oh, cool. Original Resident Evil guys making a new survival horror. And then as more and more gets released, I just suddenly just get more and more hyped for it because I'm just seeing all these new things. I'm just like, oh my god, this is going to be sick. He's definitely leaning more towards supernatural style horror.
Okay,
I can see I can see a lot of Resident Evil in it, and he has dipped his toes in supernatural horror before, but he's never really fully done it because I think he did Shadows of the Damned, but I'm pretty sure he was directing with someone else.
Oh yeah, no, that was with Suda 95, wasn't it?
Suda 51.
Suda 51. Yeah,
they both had a hand in it. And,
yeah.
So this is the first project he's really helming with his new game company made Tango. Tango Gameworks. And
Okay, cool.
I'm quite excited for it. He's just showing all these like visual ideas of just like it's really a sick and twisted world. And
I'm kind of glad that horror's coming back in a way that isn't Outlast or Slender Man, like for a bit. Just like because for a while there was a big thing of just Outlast and Slender Man. That was like that was all horror was.
It's kind of like Slender Man kind of reminds me of how Scary Movie revitalized its genre and then immediately killed it.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, there were good first person survival horror games, but there was just so fucking many of them.
Yeah.
I mean, something like having a because I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's, that's doing something different.
That's interesting.
Like, it's essentially just a tower defense game where you have to preserve your supplies. In this case, the power. But like, there's a severe consequence to it, and you're in a horrific setting.
I do like the simplicity of that, but so many games just said, "Oh yeah, you're in an asylum now," for reasons. And
there was a game straight up called Asylum.
Yeah, it's just you're in an asylum and it's spooky, and you have a dark past because that's why you're here, but you don't remember because you're knocked out or something.
And you have amnesia.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah, it's Amnesia, Outlast, and Slenderman were like the three. Those were like the templates. Like if you bought game making software, those would be like the templates you could work from.
Good games, but it's just like, guys, have a shred of originality.
Yeah, no, I like that horror's kind of stepping away from that. And Silent Hills.
Oh my god.
That trailer.
That got a little intense.
Yeah. I watched through the whole playable trailer because I don't have a PS4 because I'll pay from PS4 just yet. But I watched through the whole playable trailer and now I've watched the actual concept trailer. It's like I want this. I want this to happen. You know?
Oh god, it's gonna be so good.
And Chico's head rolling across the floor. If you didn't know, Kojima obviously working on this. He like for the model for a head just rolling around. It's Chico. It's Chico from
Ground Zeroes.
Yeah, from Ground Zeroes.
Yeah, and then when people asked him about it, he said he's probably having a much better time in Silent Hill than he was in MGS.
I can believe it.
Which is unfortunately probably true.
Yeah, and I like how it showed that it isn't just subtle. You know, it can do the kind of because that arm thing. Like, I was like,
it kind of like it's. It showed something really horrible, but you couldn't quite see it. So what you did see, like, it created a template for something horrific in your imagination. Then you filled in the blanks. You sort of saw a woman kneeling down crying, and then what almost looked like a leech's face was on her, and then it looks up at you, and then a giant hand is dragging what looks like a body.
Yeah.
And, like, you never get a good look at it. And Silent Hill did have some more direct scares. It wasn't bursting with jump scares. Yeah. But it did have just moments where it's like, here's something really strange and awful looking. Like, you have no idea what it is, and that's what frightens you.
One of the scariest things for me is that it's past the uncanny valley. Like
it looks so good in Fox Engine.
Yeah, the playable trailer, I was fucking terrified. Not by anything actual scary in the game, but it's like... The walls look like fucking walls.
The paint, like, did you get to see the oil canvas paintings?
Yeah.
You can see the brush marks from
you can see, like, the lighting, like, it looks like if you showed me I saw pictures from that initially, and I thought they were actually from real, like, photo shoots.
Yeah, there's like a Reddit user got a screenshot of the woman standing in the middle of the hall. They changed some gamma and stuff, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not saying it looked good. It looked like a photograph.
It did, and that's the most terrifying goddamn thing I've ever seen. Just how real it looked. Like, I mean, the scary stuff was scary too, but it's just like just the fact that it was so real.
Well, maybe that's because a lot of the game was really easy to render because it's 1, 2, 3 rooms.
True, that's fair, and perhaps like
maybe the game will be scaled back a bit.
I can imagine, but like it's an interesting view into the future.
Oh, definitely.
Because like just think 5 years down the line, that's the kind of game we're going to be getting. It's like that's next gen.
Yeah, like where we were watching that League of Legends video, that cinematic, and you just said, imagine what it's going to be like when this is in game, not a cutscene, in game. The way that they're moving, the lighting, and all that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh fucking, geez, that's right.
Yeah,
that's going to happen one day.
Because it happened with from the PS2 cutscenes to PS3 gameplay. That was the transfer. It happens, and and that was playable. The playable trailer being just that good, and you can move around it.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Yeah, the thing that really fucked me off though is there was some people who were saying like, "Oh, this is such a disappointment. There's jump scares in it. There aren't jump scares in Silent Hill." Yeah, there are.
Yeah,
and not just in like the ones that people hated. The good ones had jump scares, and people are saying that the new one is bad because it has jump scares. Get off your high horse.
Yeah, and considering like just how psychological the rest of it is, it shows like just the big picture. Like it's going to be mainly psychological.
Yeah, there's like 2-3 jump scares in the whole thing. The rest of it, I was almost crushing my controller because I was waiting for something that might not happen. Yeah, it was horrifying.
Yeah,
it was really tough. God, I knew that there was. I got to a point where I knew there was no more jump scares, but I was still really tense.
Yeah. Oh god, just imagine with Oculus Rift support.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Forget that noise.
I kind of want to see what that's like, because to be fair, people will die. People will die doing that.
Oh my
They
god.
will, but speaking of Oculus Rift, they have a new version out, a new prototype. Yeah. It's got headphones, it's got an improved screen as I understand it, a bit more robust.
Yeah.
The previous one, I forget its name, but the Crystal Cove had someone opened it up and found that it actually had the screen from a Samsung Galaxy Note, like with the actual Samsung still written on it.
Oh no!
Like directly off the shelf, because it's still not released publicly yet.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the Virtual Boy 2.
Yeah, but they've now released it as a platform. You can actually develop for it, and they're teaming up with Unity, I believe, so that you can make games directly for it.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. But yeah, we were talking about this earlier, just like the future of VR. Like what do you think is going?
I see it. It's going to be a nice little addition. So if you have a spare, however much it's going to cost, probably quite a lot. If you have some money to spare, I think people will get it. It will be fun. But I don't see it revolutionising anything.
Maybe not now. Not for a while. I don't think it's going to be the main gaming thing yet. Yeah. But I think the technology is going to get better, and it's one of the big deterrents right now. I mean, apart from it not actually being on sale.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get the developer kit, but that's not a release version. But right now, it is kind of bulky, and I can see in the future that it will reduce down in size and get thinner and better made and more robust. And
there's definitely one of the reasons that could put a lot of people off. Because I mean, look at the Wii. That was huge for a month, and then people realise you can just sit down and flick your wrist. And if it was still the original size that it was, people would say, well, "Fuck this! I just want to play the game." Like when it would get smaller, that's when people will be more inclined to put a stupid headset on their face and feel like an even bigger twat playing video games.
Yeah, one of the big things about it is that it's not just game applications. Like like there's holodeck kind of things where you can literally walk around a place, like Game of Thrones did this advertisement thing where you could feel like you were standing on the wall, like the edge of the giant ice wall.
Oh yeah, and the Tekken director had it so you could molest your childhood friend.
Oh no, that's Morpheus. That's for Sony.
Same thing essentially.
Yeah, but okay, virtual reality. Yeah, but yeah. Speaking of which, yeah.
He's changing the world as we know it.
The Tekken guy, if you didn't hear, at the Tokyo Game Show, revealed what he's been doing with Sony Morpheus to demonstrate the technology.
With all his Tekken money.
Yeah, with all his Tekken money, he spent it on a depressingly well animated, I must point out.
Yeah, it does look very good. It's very fluid.
It's very fluidly animated molestation.
Yeah, you're with your childhood friend for stupid summer schools because you're a 15-year-old high schooler.
Of course you are, you dirty fuck.
And when she's leading down to get a book, she's all like, "Sugoi."
Yeah, and the goal is to peek at her and to, get as close as you can while she's not looking. And It's so depressing.
I'm pretty sure some people called that Japan was going to make virtual reality just so that they could have stuff like this.
Oh yeah, no, I knew that. I knew that there was going to be, as soon as like Oculus Rift does get big, trust me, it'll be big in Japan just so that people can fuck their waifu. You know it.
Imagine all the shitty versions that are going to get made, because there's going to be ones that will be that will be like the summer project thing, and then there'll be everything else, which will probably be really depressingly bad.
I'm sure there'll be some terrible like flash like things where it's just a looping thing, and it's just like that's it, and like you might be able to change the view, but that's it. I can believe it. There'll be some terrible versions, but yeah. Japan will want it for the worst possible reasons.
Priorities.
Yeah, Japan.
Changing lives. Well,
okay. Speaking of which, there was at the Tokyo Game Show there was a pair of giant boobs.
Oh yeah, for Onechanbara.
Yeah, for Onechanbara.
Well,
and you could stick your head in the tit, which is that a thing that people want? It's a nipple.
Yeah.
You don't enter a nipple.
It doesn't even look that comfortable to play the game. You have to lean forward.
Yeah, just like...
I would have been surprised, but considering Onechanbara only is still running as a franchise because of TNA, it's far from shocking for me.
I'd understand it a bit more if it was actually like an orifice that you would actually enter.
Well, you can't it can't exactly have like legs wide open and then just a hole where you play the garm.
Would that be worse though? Because it's naked tits. Like
no, there's a bikini over the thing. Like this is just incomprehensibly stupid.
Yeah,
like,
I know. It just like
they wouldn't get away with a giant pair of legs opened up with the vagoose where you play the games.
I don't know what's okay in Japan at this point.
Nothing is sacred.
Yeah.
They'll
drink yellow shaved ice out of a cardboard cutout of a girl's vagina.
Of your waifu.
Yeah, that's a thing, by the way. If you want to look
it was
up.
big like a few months ago.
Yeah,
I cried a little.
Yeah. Try our new red strawberry flavor.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can all guess what the red flavor was.
Ugh.
Yeah, another game looks pretty sweet. Resident Evil Revelations. Turns out that the spin-off game Revelations was like, oh wait a minute, the spin-off has done better than the one we poured lots of money into. So now
I like when that happens.
Yeah, the spin-off is getting a sequel before the main game, which I find is hilarious, and it's such a good reality check for Capcom.
Now, I haven't played Revelations or like how is it related, like in terms of tangentially, like
it's just a smaller terrorist organization. I'm pretty sure it's not
it's not in Raccoon City.
It's on a boat.
Okay,
it's on a boat, so it's cramped corridors, dingy dark hallways, creepy setting.
That's good. You know, that's not quick time event battles with giant monsters, so
I kind of like Resident Evil 6 because you get to ride a truck with a machine gun shooting a giant zombie T-Rex.
Oh yeah, but you gotta like.
You
gotta contrast that with.
I know.
The
I
original.
say I like it in that. In the sense of the game, yes, it's offensive.
Yeah.
But in the sense that you get to fight a giant zombie fly by like making it get shot by lightning, that's awesome.
That does sound pretty cool.
Yeah, because it did a lot of things right, but obviously as a Resident Evil game, it was an atrocity.
Yeah, kind of.
Anyway, Revelations looks like it's following the good pattern that Resident Evil has slowly started to regain. They brought back Claire Redfield, so it's good. Everyone say she best girl or something.
Okay.
And it's from what I've been able to gather from the trailer, you get like this wristwatch or something that has a timer on it, and I know that somebody like jabs her with an injection, so I'm thinking maybe she's like been jabbed with a virus and she has to find a cure.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, because I know she's like in like a jail or something. And
that would be that would add tension to it.
Yeah, and there's some pretty creepy monster designs. There isn't a whole lot about it, but I'm definitely excited for it because from what I've played of Revelations, it was a lot of fun, and it's definitely far more reminiscent than Resident Evil has been in years to its original games.
Yeah, that's very, very, very good.
So I'm pretty happy about that. We just got done watching MGS5 gameplay.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
We watched the 20-minute demo with Quiet the Sniper and Snake and Bake.
Now, again, I have no real clue as to who Quiet is or what the storyline really...
She's a new character, just for Phantom Pain.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Actually, no, that makes less sense because she, like, her power set seems I thought like that would be something that would be established over time. Like, wait, so this woman.
Well, it's going to be a big game.
Fair enough, but this woman, she's
She
able.
can dematerialize.
Yeah, she can appear in other places. She seems like super strong or fast, like in some way.
Yeah.
And Snake has a robot arm, so that's cool.
Yeah. You can send people on a giant balloon away.
Yeah, you can just put you just, like people, donkeys, like the horses, supplies, anything. Just put a balloon on it, and it'll fly away. Like
I might be wrong, but that he might be recruiting people for like Big Boss or something like that.
That would be a very strange way to recruit people. I have just shot your friends. You fly off into the sky.
I'm almost certain that's for like if you've knocked someone out.
Yeah.
So like you can't. I wish you could, but you probably can't do it to a dead body.
Oh no, I know, but like just like you've killed their friends, and like the last unconscious person, like they wake up next day. It's like
death is too good for you.
No, you must serve me. You will drop horses from the sky for my amusement.
Because I know in Portable Ops, you could do something similar, where it's just when you've knocked them out, you can drop them into the back of a truck in a certain area, and then they'll get taken away for Big Boss.
Okay, that's something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that you seem to have infinite amounts of these things, and you can make inflatable versions of yourself, and
you can put a PS4 on your box on your head, and that's apparently hiding.
Yeah, no, Metal Gear, it looks dumb, but I want to play it.
It looks like a really good way of revitalizing the gameplay, because the gameplay is quite different, but it just looks reminiscent to the point where it's not betrayal.
And the scanning feature where you can scan people and
Far Cry 3.
It's very Far Cry 3. Yeah. It's directly ripping it off. But hey, it's a really good feature.
Yeah, and it makes sense with his little codec thing. I don't know what it's called, but it makes sense with his espionage role.
Yeah, and it makes plotting and espionage and everything a lot more fun, a lot easier.
So if that's the way you play a stealth game, then that'll be yours for you. Because I know you can go guns blazing or stealth-like.
Because that was something I really loved with Far Cry 3. Just like when you could actually like go around a base, like clock every guy in there, take them all out without anyone noticing. That was the most satisfying part of the game.
Yeah.
It didn't matter that the story kind of shat itself in the second half. The point was you could just keep doing that, and that was the most fun you could have. So I really like that, and hopefully Metal Gear can scratch that itch.
Yeah, it's looking just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And next, a game was announced for the Xbone.
Which
it's by Swery, the guy who did Deadly Premonition.
Oh yeah.
It's called D4. It looks really interesting. It's like some detective. He's got like a lead on some case where on an airplane flight, so, in the middle of the 10,000 feet in the sky, someone on the flight just disappears.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he's got to like put it together. It looks just as crazy as Deadly Premonition.
Okay, well that's good. That's a good endorsement.
But with far better graphics. It doesn't look like
I would expect so, because
it's on the next gen, bro.
Yeah, you gotta make use of all that next gen.
Yeah, granted, it's probably not going to be open world. I think it's got similar gameplay to maybe like I think it has quick time events, and I think it might have branching dialogue trees.
Okay.
So it makes sense him being a detective.
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
Yeah, I know that there's like a really weird cooking scene, which is just, it would be if David Lynch directed a cooking scene, so nothing makes sense, but at the same time, everything, it looks pretty interesting, and again, the graphics look much better because it's not apparently running on a Dreamcast engine.
Yeah,
and not open world at the same time.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that to come to PS4 after the time's run out for exclusivity.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about the whole timed exclusive thing.
It's meaningless now.
It's pretty meaningless.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for what's it, Sunset Overdrive to come to the PS4.
Yeah, you can expect it. It's coming to PC. We know that. So.
Yeah.
So
Well, that could segue us. I got to do a segue for once into Mojang.
Yeah.
He got bought out by Microsoft. Well, he sold Minecraft to Microsoft for $2.8 billion. Was it
2.5? I think.
2.5. Yeah.
$2.5 billion.
That's a lot of money.
Now, some people have called him a sellout, which is kind of cruel, because basically Notch, the guy who made Minecraft, has said, "Look, I don't want this pressure anymore.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure for him, like keeping up all the demands and like.
Yeah,
no, he wasn't just sitting at the top.
He's made a game that, unlike Destiny, has changed things.
Oh, for sure.
Like Minecraft is being used in schools, like for very little kids, to teach them building mechanics and like spatial awareness. It's it's used by kids just as a creative tool. It's used just as a really fun game in terms of the survival mode.
A lot of people talk shit about Minecraft, say, oh, it's just for kids and autistics. You have to admit, something so simple has had such a huge impact.
The kids who have been brought up on Minecraft will enter the game industry.
It'll be very different.
Trust me, you may not see the effects now, but like, give it 10, 20 years, you'll see Minecraft's effects on the game industry.
Yeah, it's just such a, like, again, talk shit as much as you want. It's such a good example of how you don't need fucking graphics. You just build stuff, and they did it in a way where millions of people bought the game. You can't deny that.
Well, this is the thing. Millions of people have bought the game.
Yes, I've bought the game. You bought the game.
Yeah, we both bought the game. The thing is, like, Minecraft has had its day in terms of high sales. Like you can't necessarily make a sequel. I wouldn't think.
It's like I said. It's earlier. It's a game made to be built upon. Oh, here's an expansion pack. Here's a patch.
Yeah, like maybe they could bring out like expansion packs. Like here's a version with a story, or here's a version with different world building mechanics.
There'll be undoubtedly like a Halo Master Chief thing.
Oh yeah,
skins and such.
Well, this is where they make their money a bit. Is with merchandise. Like they've got quite a bit of merchandising rights.
Oh, and they have servers that people rent out.
They have servers, yeah. So that's their main draw of money. But I can't imagine that's worth $2.5 billion.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a good trickle of money, but it wouldn't be the sales that happened when Minecraft just started being sold.
Well, this is the thing. Microsoft bought Bungie right before they released Halo.
Yeah.
Halo was actually announced by Steve Jobs. Like, it was meant to run on Mac, it was meant to run on PC, and like then Microsoft saw, hey, these Bungie guys, they're pretty smart. They know what they're doing. They've made some interesting games. How about we have them be our system seller? Like, and they saw that Halo was good, so they bought it up and then said Halo's Xbox exclusive, and that's what made them big. They made a lot of money. Exactly. Smart purchase, but why buy a game company when it's already at its peak?
The party is over and done.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like, Notch isn't coming with them.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like Notch, and I think there was one other guy. Like, the two
guys...
There
was a musician and some other creative guy.
Yeah, like, they had, like, 2 or 3 guys who were the guys who made Minecraft. Like, if those guys were on it, I'd say, oh, well, you know, Microsoft is paying for the talent. They expect that these guys will make another game, and that will make them the money. But they're not. They're not going to be coming back for this.
Yeah, like you said, you can't make a sequel, because a sequel would essentially just be a really large expansion pack.
Yeah, and, like... I can see them releasing an expansion pack with a story or a different world building mechanic where worlds are all fantasy or something, or but that's about it. There's not really much you can do with Minecraft other than just let it be.
Yeah, and getting back to like how you said people were calling him a sellout, I feel like that was one of the best decisions he's ever made after Minecraft, because imagine what it's going to be like for him making another game. I hate to sound cynical, but he's forever going to be known as that guy who made Minecraft.
Yeah, no,
it's like the Sims guy.
Just to have fun, he in Unity he made a horse simulator. Literally, and he released it without his name on it, but just like like J.K. Rowling released a book without her name on it.
People love that.
Yeah, but yeah, he just made it because he could, and he made it in a day apparently.
Wow.
And it's better than most of the simulators on Steam.
Oh, I can believe it. I mean, this isn't stolen assets for one thing.
Well, it's just using the Unity engine, like free assets, and it's just a horse simulator, and you can definitely see when people are doing that. It's when they're practically broken and just want to be left alone and just make quiet stuff for a bit.
Yeah.
Because I can see like with that much pressure, you just want to relax a bit.
Yeah, I heard there was a lot of like pressure for him, like personally maintaining a lot of stuff about the Minecraft franchise, and it was one guy really shouldering most of that, and
he wasn't expecting to get rich. Like,
no, definitely not.
Like, this is a guy who just had this meteoric rise, like completely unexpected.
Yeah.
And now he's got to deal with the pressures of fame. And I can see why he...
It's on the same level as Call of Duty. It just blew up one day.
Yeah.
Like, nobody can predict when that will happen and to whom.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, Minecraft was the thing, suddenly. And now Notch doesn't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Very brave move, honestly, just stepping away from it.
And plus, like... 2.5 billion.
You'd do it.
Yeah.
Like, you would do it.
Do not say you wouldn't. I'm like, I'd keep my journalistic integrity. Like, an artist would do it. Like, an artist still got to eat. They want to make something meaningful to them, but they still want to eat.
And if he wants to continue, if he wants to make another game, he's got all the resources in the world.
Exactly.
He's fine. Like, he's fine.
His name is behind Minecraft. It's like saying Bungie will never make another game again. Yeah. They will.
Well, I mean, with companies can go down, but with individuals, like the guy who made BioShock, I'm forgetting his name.
The guy I know, the guy who's in charge of Irrational.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Irrational went down.
Yeah.
But he's always going to be remembered as the guy who made BioShock, and that's going to stick with him. He can keep making games.
George Lucas he made the most bulletproof franchise in existence.
Yeah, and no matter how many shit films he's made since then, he'll always be remembered as the guy who made Star Wars, and people will still give him money to make mediocre World War II films, like he did like a couple of years ago.
Still wish they made that BioShock Vita game.
Yeah, well, I mean, they got BioShock onto iOS, so I don't know why.
Like we said last time, it's impressive, but not really a good idea, though.
Yeah, the graphics are really shit and buggy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, like compared to what you've got on consoles, it looks really downgraded, and the whole story's on there.
Yeah.
The whole story's on there.
You would have thought it would look better on a smaller screen.
That's no, because like they've had to lower the resolution.
Oh yeah.
For it to be able to run on the teeny processors.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why they did that.
I wasn't gonna, considering I think BioShock's okay. I probably wasn't gonna buy it on a Android smart device, whatever, in the first place.
Yeah.
Well, moving on. One last thing I have to talk about. Project Scissor, or Scissor Project.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about this. What's Project Scissor?
It is a spiritual successor to the Clock Tower franchise. And the director of Ju-On the Grudge is going to be working on it. And this is what I'm happy about the most. The original monster creator, designer, and like background artist from the first 3 Silent Hill games, Masahiro Ito, the guy who made Pyramid Head, is going to be designing the monsters.
That's okay.
I know.
That's
just
good.
hit him on it alone. It's just like, oh god, that looks all of my yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
The man's a genius. He still makes good artwork.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel bad that his artwork has just been like Pyramid Head and the Sexy Nurses, and that's all people think about, and they've become the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
I hope that Silent Hills makes no reference to them. Just like they have nothing to do with them.
Kojima, I'm pretty sure, is a Silent Hill fan, so he'd probably know what is and isn't called for.
Yeah, it just... They were very important to James Sunderland.
Well, there were people on the games that people didn't like. There were people who knew what was and wasn't okay in the Silent Hill universe.
Yeah.
Like Tom Hewlett, he knew his lore, but it was Konami. Konami was saying, no, that's not marketable. You need to have Pyramid Head in it. It was Konami.
Yeah.
Has Konami done anything now, other than Metal Gear Solid and? They've pretty much lost everything. They're slowly becoming Sega. They have nothing to support them. Just these few pillars that have stood the test of time, and that's it.
Speaking of companies buying companies, can Nintendo just buy Sega already? Just have Sonic move in with Mario and share an apartment.
Yeah.
Because Sega. Speaking of Sega and the whole Colonial Marines thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Gearbox. The blame keeps on shifting back and forth, but is it the most recent thing? Sega's completely put it onto Gearbox, haven't they?
Just well, for a while it was a lot of really childish. No, it was him. It was they both got brought into question naturally for fucking lying to everyone.
Yeah.
Then there was a lot of things saying, oh no, Sega was in charge of marketing, and then Sega said, well, no, we were both in charge of marketing, and Randy Pitchford said he does whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, exactly. This is what they were saying, just like that Randy Pitchford basically just that he released footage and stuff that they were not cool with.
Yeah.
That he was the one pushing a lot of the marketing, even though it wasn't real. Now, of course, you don't know who to believe on this one, but I can kind of believe that Randy Pitchford would do that.
Yeah. I know that he said that apparently Gearbox weren't paid properly for the money that was earned from Colonial Marines through pre-orders. Apparently they weren't paid the amount they were promised. Which, okay, yeah, if that's true, that's pretty shitty. But what happened to all that money, Randy, that you had for Colonial Marines? Borderlands DLC. There was lots and lots of Borderlands DLC. They used loads of their money for Borderlands DLC, and then they hired out a very inexpensive company that no one had heard of called Timegate Studios to do all the grunt work, and that's why it's such a horrible mess, because they just outsourced a load of inexpensive people who just weren't that talented, and obviously they didn't have a lot of money and time. So, yeah, Randy, this one is kind of on you as well. Don't deny it.
Yeah. I think. Speaking of Borderlands,
I know, I'm kind of guilty that I'm actually kind of excited for the pre-sequel.
Yeah, because there was a trailer released. Now I haven't seen it, but your reaction.
Yeah, it was the trailer. It was let's just say, thank God the game mechanics look a lot more fun and diverse than the second game, because it looks like they took what was fun and they've just added a bunch of other interesting ideas. Like, say if you get a shit amount of loot of like some guns, you can throw it in a grinder, and then it will spit out a better gun.
Okay, that's cool.
So you pop in 3 crappy guns and you get 1 decent gun.
That's good.
Yeah, and
I like that.
Yeah, and then there's 0G, so you can jump really far, or you can do a gravity drop or something, hit players. And there's I think she's Athena. She's got a shield that she can charge up and throw like a frisbee. And there's a lot of cool ideas going around, and it just actually looks a lot more fun than the first game, or second game, I mean, sorry. Yeah. But dear God, the trailer,
the jokes.
Now, I'm not the funniest guy in the world. I'm funnier than that trailer. I genuinely believe it.
I can believe it. Yeah.
It was the definition of the guy you knew in class who desperately tried to be really, really funny, and no one really laughed, and it got really awkward. Oh my fucking God, it was painful. Like, there's a character called Mr. Torg. He yells the entire trailer. It's like, "Hi, I'm Mr. Torg and I'm a badass." It was that the entire time. And another character, Hammerlock, I think his name is, he's like, "Oh, yes, quite, blah, 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 blah." So it's a wacky contrast. And at the beginning, they had the fucking balls to do that. Dun, 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 dun. You know, that really stock thing you've heard a billion times now, where it's like quality time with Hammerlock and Mr. Torg. And then it's just got him just screaming all the features of the games and trying to make it funny. And it epitomised everything I hate about the humour in those games.
Well, they've said that there's not going to be any memes.
I don't trust them. I really don't.
Yeah.
Because in that same trailer where they say that the memes are a bad idea, they're using Doge. They used Doge to say that the memes are a bad idea. They said, "Much sorry, very regret, wow," or something. And it's the Doge face on top of Mr. Torg. And immediately at that point, I just had to sigh.
Know. Like, that might be just like a cap off. Like,
I fucking hope it is.
Yeah, because it's just to say, look, okay, that's it. That's our one, like the one meme we're having in this thing. The rest of it's gonna be.
Yeah, but I don't trust him, because like there's like an achievement or an unlockable that's called "You've Got Red on You," where it's like, I don't know, you do bleed damage or something. So yeah. That's what they're really famous for saying, "Oh no, it's a reference." No, you just called it that because you couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, that's the laziest kind of humor, and I've really gotten bored with it. Like, so many, like, especially internet videos, like, for some reason, I've completely stopped laughing at any referential humor at this point. Like, Family Guy just drops dead to me now. Like,
what about the original series?
Even the older series, I'm kind of just like, this isn't funny. I'm not getting it.
Like, I definitely enjoy the older series more than new ones, but I see where you're coming from, where it's just...
referentially.
Oh, look, it's Gary Coleman.
Yeah.
That's certainly him.
Yeah, it's not really a joke.
It's just referring to a thing you know.
Yeah, and that's not a joke. That's just a comment, or it's just... Here's a thing. You remember this, so funny, right?
Yeah.
It's not a comment on anything. It's just like it exists, which is lame.
Yeah, I mean, like they're sustained jokes. You know, like the one with the dead bullfrog. That to me that was funnier than some of their like, oh, Gary Coleman in a situation. Isn't that relatable?
Yeah, though I am very confused as to how Tales of the Borderlands is gonna play out.
A lot of people just call Borderlands the most video game that ever video games.
And didn't the creators say that that it was, what was it, gaming Star Wars or something?
The head writer or like a creative designer said that the lore of Borderlands and the world was as rich and fleshed out as the original trilogy of Star Wars. No,
it ain't.
No. I'd call it Saturday night fun. I wouldn't call it something I'd sit down with a pen and paper and a cup of chamomile tea.
And this is why I don't...
the Mr. Torg trailer of him screaming badass and bro and I don't give a fuck over and over again. Yeah, I don't believe you that it's got a rich and investing lore.
Yeah, the lore... I mean, I haven't played through the games, but obviously I've heard the story. I've seen the character designs. I've heard the dialogue, and I've seen Claptrap, the Jar Jar of the series.
Yeah, people say he's funny. He's not that funny.
I don't get it.
He cracks in a few laughs every now and then, but he's not the seller of the series.
Yeah, it's a very strange thing that people find it like.
I think he's got a cute design, which he's easy to latch on.
The design is fine.
Big rectangle of yellow and a blue eye and a black wheel. It's easy to remember.
Yeah, no, I do like that. It's very simple. That's good design. But the lore is like, no, it's not. Yeah. It's not Star Wars.
I have.
No one's going to be spending like nights debating the lore of Borderlands. If you care that much about Borderlands, you're playing it wrong.
Yeah,
So how is like Telltale going to adapt it into their... Because there's nothing but story, and
they're known for story.
They've even cut down on the quick time events, or they've changed them to be more dynamic. And there's less adventure game aspects. It is really just those choices and the story and the character, which maybe that will flesh it out. But again, I don't think that's the appeal.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's covering brand new characters.
I can see that, yeah. I doubt they'd have the characters they had.
But... Yeah, I mean, there's hardly anything to work with there, so who knows? Maybe they'll think if they're... I mean, it's definitely an interesting setting with hunting for vaults on these colourful planets and all that, and so who knows? Maybe they could find something, but considering it's just like like I said, it's a very video game. It's going to be tough to build a story. I mean, it makes sense that they picked up The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones. Those are very character-driven.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of story. There's a lot in that world to explore.
Yeah.
I don't know. Borderlands. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see, because the trailers will give us a sense of it. But, yeah. Any other big news out of TGS you wanted to cover?
Nah. Other than that, I've just got little bits and pieces to talk about, and you have as well. So that's pretty much our roundup of things we'll have. Yeah,
that's Tokyo Game Show. Some good stuff coming up.
Oh, definitely.
And it might just get me to buy a PS4, because even though Arkham Knight has been pushed back to like next summer.
Damn, it's quite a push.
Yeah, that is quite a push.
Oh, well, Bloodborne's coming out in February, so
yeah,
awesome.
I'm thinking early next year would be a good time where there'll be enough games to really warrant it.
We're coming out of the drought now.
Yeah,
there's always that drought, isn't it? Christmas time, isn't it?
The drought. Well, the summer drought.
The summer drought.
The summer drought.
Christmas is where things really start to pick up.
Yeah, pretty much from now onwards is when the games start coming up.
Good games will start coming out for PS4.
So that's I'm looking forward to that.
Definitely.
Now, you may have known about another big event that's happened recently. The iPhone 6 launched.
Oh no.
Yeah, the iPhone 6 announced last Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, last Tuesday. Got a lot of hype. People really like it. It's finally got a big screen size. And obviously, Android people have taken this chance to mock it incessantly, just saying, "Welcome to 2012. You finally got a 4.7-inch screen with NFC." Ha ha ha. Which, fair enough. We all take that ribbing. Yeah. I mean, personally, at this point, I think all Apple and Android, they're basically the same. Yeah. They do what they need to. But I was liking the look of the 6 Plus, and. I was one of those losers to turn up at 2 a.m. Mm-hmm. I biked all the way to Brighton. Very lovely ride, very nice night. But queue jumpers.
Arseholes.
Yeah, they are. I've explained this to Sam, and I've told the story already. But basically, what happened was I showed up at 2 a.m. I was 67th in line.
What a nerd.
Yeah, which... you might think that's a lot, but trust me, that's closer to the door than I've ever been before in these events.
Yeah.
And they really are fun events. Like, some people, looked at me.
Oh, yeah, it's like-minded people.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a fun thing. You get to talk to people, and, I mean, fair enough, it's a couple of hours in the cold, but it wasn't too cold of a night.
Yeah.
And then a group of Chinese students just kind of showed up, met with their friend, 20 of them. Or at least, definitely, 10 to 15... showed up, bunched up around the door, and he caused this whole mass of chaos.
Mm.
And then other people started queue jumping. By the end of it, I was 100 places back. I must, yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was really annoying. But, no, it gets worse with the Apple stuff coming out. They didn't know what to do. Obviously, because they've never had this problem before.
Mm.
They were explaining, look, we've never had no one has been this dickish before at these events.
We needed the Crimson Bolts come in to sort them out.
Yeah, well, they have explained to me now that they will have overnight security.
Yeah, I would have thought they'd have it to begin with.
Again, they've never needed it because usually Apple fans are nice. But my theory is that these Chinese students in China. The 6 and 6 Plus aren't going to be out for a couple of months, so they wanted to they were going to go with any measure to get these
not
get these
going
funds.
home empty-handed.
Yeah, they would butt in, and trust me, if this has happened in America or some less civilized place,
there would be blood.
There would be blood. Especially since anyway 6 o'clock, Apple staff come in, and they stretch out the queue because they can't really do anything. They kicked a few people out, but that was it.
Mm.
But yeah, and then they said, okay, what we're going to do. 10 people at a time. Each of you will get cards for the iPhone you want, and you'll go in and start queuing up outside the actual store because this was in a shopping center. And then 10 people went in. Sorry, we're out of 6 Pluses. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, out of so basically they had less than 20 of these. That's they had 1,000 iPhones to be clear. 20 of them were the actual 6 Pluses.
It's unheard of.
Yeah, I get the supply and demand and the fact that they've only got so many supplies, but goddamn.
Yeah, you would have thought, because it is definitely a bigger release. It's not just like a slight update.
Yeah, this is why some people ask, why do you go to these events? It's because that can happen.
Yeah.
Because these things literally are that limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, with game pre-orders, it's basically worthless.
Oh, yeah. You're definitely going to get a copy of Call of Duty if you go in there without pre-order.
Oh, yeah. But with the iPhone 6 release, I was really excited for it, but, so I spent my night in the cold. But
for nothing.
Came home without it. And, that really is on Apple, for having such shitty supplies.
Yeah. I haven't had as interesting a week. I've finished all my homework ready for uni. It got to a point where I was doing so much work where I said, I'd honestly prefer to be at uni. It would be a lot more fun there, instead of sitting at home being surrounded by things that I need to watch and not have the time to watch. I got Netflix. I had a couple DVDs or games or whatever that I wanted to play and watch, but I had so much work that I was trying to get done so that I'd have spare time, and I got it done, and I just got to print the last of it off.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
What have you been watching?
I catched up on Avatar.
Good.
I am one disc away from finishing the whole of the series.
Good.
Yeah. I got to, where is it? It was just what happens after the Boiling Rock. I think I watched up to the last of Boiling Rock.
Okay.
And is it after Boiling Rock? Zuko like loses his flame. Or was that before?
I think.
I think that's before. Yeah,
that was before.
Yeah, I got up to
he joined the group, and that was just.
And he firebends in the prison a bit. Yeah, okay. I got to. I definitely got to part 2 of Boiling Rock. Finished that, and I haven't watched any more since. But all that stuff with the dragons, really interesting. I love that.
Yeah, it really is an amazing show. Those 3 seasons were so tight.
Yeah.
And Korra season 4 or book 4 is getting hyped now.
Yeah.
But they didn't wait a year. It's just going to be released this year, which I'm kind of surprised about. They're kind of rushing. Well, I guess if they've got it, they've got it there. They don't want it to just get forgotten. So it's.
Well, I think they when they work, they just don't stop. It's something like with Adventure Time. I knew that as they were working on as season 2 was being aired, they were already working on season 4 because they were just churning it out because they just could. It's so weird to think that there are just these people. They just don't stop. They just keep churning out good stuff.
Yeah,
and they just churn out loads of it. It's really weird to think that there are some people who can do quality and quantity.
Yeah, that's a very weird situation.
I know, like the people who've been making the Persona games, they've just been making nothing but Persona these whole years. They made Catherine, and basically they got like fucking hell, they got like 4 or 5 games in the pipeline, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, these look amazing." And there haven't been many bad Persona games that people have talked about, really.
But yeah, Korra, ending season 3 was amazing, and they've released 1 clip of season 4, and it's like.
Yeah, we've got DreamWorks on board now, so the animation will be even more good.
Yeah, and after this, they're working on some mysterious project they have not revealed.
Yep.
Which is not Avatar related.
Yeah, nothing in that universe.
I mean, you could keep going with Avatar.
Oh, definitely.
Like, I'd like to see an entire series based around like the original Avatar or Avatar Roku or just other avatars in the past or in the future. Like you could practically go up to modern times.
Oh, definitely.
Like it would be very interesting to see how that goes.
I feel like it would stop there if it got to modern times.
I think with Korra right now though, it could be that she is the last Avatar because there's a lot of I'm not gonna spoil it since you haven't caught up yet, but a lot of the themes will be just like is she needed anymore? Is the Avatar needed? Like would it be better? Would it be better if the world just did not have an Avatar?
Oh.
So that's going to be interesting to see play out in season 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else have you been watching?
Queen's Blade. Finished that. Oh boy.
You finished that, and not Avatar.
Well, to be fair, there was 12 episodes. Avatar's had 3 seasons.
Fair enough.
And well, it was really depressing. Well, like not only because I had more free time, and I was like, you know what, I do want to watch Avatar now. One of the kicker things was that got me back into the groove of actually watching stuff. It was like, well, disc 3 is fucked. While I wait for that one, the replacement disc to ship, I'll watch Avatar. It was a beautiful disaster. It was terrible. I loved it, and I've got season 2 ready to watch, and then I'll buy the 3rd season, and then 4 if they make one or something. It was so terrible in every sense of the words. I think it's a very specific kind of shit that I like. I know that you would probably find it very, very boring. The fight scenes are really poorly choreographed, and like the characters just kind of do things, and it's just like they almost state their motivation. It's just you don't feel any of it, obviously, because they've got the personality of a wet paper towel, and the animation is just not all that great. They just save all their money for the booty shots, and probably what I find so entertaining about it is the fact it's kind of weird. You don't really see many males. You do see like men in the background, and they sometimes talk to men, but you don't really see many of them, and like they're all dressed in these physics-defying, boobalicious outfits. I'm not joking. There's one character. She's like, she can control like serpents or something. She has a snake that's literally just wrapped around her taint. A live snake that hangs around her butthole and her goose. And it just hangs there.
Okay.
Yeah. Like all these characters who wear these stupid outfits. No one ever brings it up. And I find it really entertaining. Like, no, there's not even men who are like, oh man, look at that ass. Nobody brings it up.
Okay, that's...
Yeah, I find it quite funny. It's probably a joke that would wear out for you quite quickly.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
Everyone has a different taste of shit that they like.
Yeah.
Apparently I have a really specific taste of shit that I enjoy. So if I can actually power my way through that terrible series.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I've also been trying to 100% Infamous Second Son because it's a really fun game. I do like it a lot. And I'll definitely pick up the much better games. I've got First Light, which I still need to play, which is the DLC with Fetch in it. Annoyingly though, there's a bonus mission. They said, oh yeah, for the next 6 weeks after the game's launch, we'll have a bonus power called paper for the mission called Paper Trails. I'm kind of having a problem with it because there's it's a mixture of both gameplay on your console and you go onto a computer and you solve these riddles.
Oh right, I hate when that happens because like when with Mass Effect you practically either needed to do the multiplayer or use the mobile app in order to really 100% it. I don't like it when a game forces me to do other stuff, especially online. To get through the game. The game should be self-contained.
Yeah, some of it was kind of cool, but I was just just let me play the game, dude. And really annoyingly, because I own a Mac, there's one bit where because the person who was doing the walkthrough, because I couldn't be bothered to figure this shit out myself. I just want to play the game. It's fun. It's like a riddle that you need to figure out, and one of it was that you had to. There was a hint that said you have to right click, and he was doing this on a PC, and go to page source or something. And I don't know how to do that on a Mac. I don't know how to find the page source on a Mac.
I'm not entirely clear myself. It's not something I've ever needed to do, and that seems like a very strange thing to have to do.
And it's like a procedurally generated code, so I have to open it up. So I'm going to have to find a PC and log in with my Facebook account so that I can get the procedurally generated code in order to actually continue with the... Yeah, real professional. to actually continue with it, and it's quite annoying, and it's stopped me from 100%ing the game.
Yeah, that's really bad design, I think.
Yeah, the rest of the game's a lot of fun. And also, I finished Outlast today.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. It originally I thought it was just going to be you're just stuck in an asylum, and it's spooky, scary skeletons.
Spoopy.
Yeah, too spoopy for me. Anyway, the story actually molds into something a lot more interesting than just you're stuck in a house with psychos.
Okay.
Yeah, I did like it a lot, and there's a brief villain. I know that Jim said he loved him. He's awesome. He's called Dr. Traeger.
Yeah, I saw the design for him. He's really interesting.
He's got a giant pair of rusty scissors with one big handle and then one tiny thumb bit. And his voice actor, I could tell he was having a lot of fun because he's the way he talks. He sounds like a real a friend. He sounds really cool and calm. And it's there's one bit where, when he chases you because there's this whole conspiracy going on with why they're why all the psychos are essentially running the insane asylum. He said when he catches you, he goes, "Buddy, let me sell you the dream." And
that's cool.
Yeah, and do you mind it being spoiled at all a bit?
I plan to play it.
Okay, I won't go too far into details, but there's one bit where he's trying to torture you, and he smacks you, and then you're starting to pass out. It's hey, don't you fucking pass out on me! And he smacks you again. And then he's he's talking about look, there's bigger things at work here. This isn't the work of God. God died with the gold standard, my friend. And then he walks over choosing his tools that he's going to try and talk to you with.
That's neat.
Yeah, he's a very brief villain, but very memorable.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's what's surprising about the game is that they have some quite memorable designs for the reoccurring psychopaths you chase. There's one called Soldier. He's someone who came from war. Obviously, he's shell shocked and just not right in the head. And he's got pretty memorable designs. They say you have to make sure to look up. There's notes saying make sure you look after him. He's been known to try and tear skin away from his face. So he's missing his lips. And he's got no eyelids. And he's got things pulling back his mouth. And he can. There's a really awesome part where if he catches you face first, he'll grab you, and since you're in first person, he'll be holding you by the neck. And he'll pull it back. And at first I thought he was ripping out guts. He rips your whole body off of your head and then just drops the body. It's super rad.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a really tight design, and it works a lot. And,
yeah, that's good.
You know, I'm gonna play the DLC at some point.
Yeah, I need to get on to playing that.
Yeah, it's I think. Can you get it for Mac?
As I remember, no. That was the reason I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, well,
if I could,
you can play it for PS4.
Yeah. When I get a PS4, definitely.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. The only other thing I could have talked about was how Street Fighter the movie is the best thing ever. That live action film gets way too much hate.
I like it.
I know.
It doesn't connect to the story of the games, but who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it's a fun movie.
Oh yeah, like I said on Facebook. Anyone who says they don't like it is actively admitting that fun is bad.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid fun film. When you just get into all the characters just ripping the scenery apart from how much they're chewing it. Like, it's Jean-Claude Van Damme Guile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to find that M. Bison and kick his ass so hard that his children and the people who success him will feel their ass being hurt. And then, of course, there's the guy who's living the role of M. Bison.
Raul Julia.
Yeah, Raul. Oh, you could tell he was having the time of his life. Because that awesome line was like, the day my army graced your village was the most important day of your life, but for me it was just a Tuesday.
I love that line.
It's kind of complex.
It is, yeah.
Oh, wasn't there like one other awesome one? It's like you expected to fight a man, but you found a god.
Yeah.
And then he like super shoots at him.
Yeah.
Like, he zooms across the room and punches God through a fucking wall or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's certainly a lot more fun than that Chun-Li legend film.
Oh god, what? Why? Well, like, they tried so hard to make that a real film, like, with the whole film aspect ratio and, like, proper cameras, and it's like, guys, stop putting that much effort into it. It's fucking Street Fighter, okay? Yeah. I get that Chun-Li's probably the most complex character out of the bunch with an actual story behind her, but no, okay? You don't get to make M. Bison this boring.
Yeah.
He's meant to be mad and funny and
wacky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much everything I'd want to talk about.
Oh, you don't want to talk about Wayside?
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
Yeah, okay, so we're...
Because we have a Netflix account, we have to look at the terrible shit they get.
Yeah, occasionally, like, we just browse through stupid shit and see how bad it is. That's how we found the magic that is Barbie's Dream House.
Yeah.
Life in the Dream House.
Yeah, and I already knew about the Wayside cartoon because I'd watched a few episodes years ago. Yeah. And I said, oh, Jamie, Wayside's on Netflix and it's fucking horrendous. Let's watch it.
Yeah, we watched, like, 2 episodes and the animation is...
terrible?
Yeah, that's the word for it. People seem to have arms growing out of their heads a lot of the time.
Yeah, if you can be bothered, listeners, the human race, I know you're listening. If anyone could be bothered, go and watch an episode and just try and pause it at some certain points where they're shrugging or they're patting their chest with one hand or something.
Yeah.
The arms, they go up too far. Too far.
This is my favorite. I'll put it on the video of the podcast. This should not be.
It's supposed to be disappointment.
This should not be. Like, her arms are coming out of her ears.
Just doing the Lord's work.
And her body is coming out of her head. Mm-hmm. And is just this snake-like thing. And her face looks like she's 40 or something, like, or 50.
H.I. Gaga would be proud.
She's not a child.
Yeah, most of them sound like they're not voiced by children.
Yeah, and...
the main character is definitely voiced by some guy who's nearly 30.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, where this girl...
gorilla impression.
Yeah, this girl's doing a gorilla impression, and oh god, there's... some of the... Yeah, there's, like... just...
Basically, this show is a perfect example of how you don't make a well-animated show on Flash when you don't care.
And when... Wait, is this the French anime? Wait.
No.
No, that's the other thing, but yeah. But, yeah, but the principal doing an Asian impression there.
His double grin.
Oh, God.
Like,
yeah, if you just take it... Oh, God.
Yeah, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah, I guess we should kind of explain the plot. I'm not clear on it because when it opens, it's a Valentine special, and it acts like the show has just been going on for multiple seasons beforehand.
Yeah, there's established, in quotes, characters.
Yeah, like they have established character traits, like this girl hits the main character and...
Because she's in love with him.
Yeah, and like he's got a friend who's not a friend, she just hits him too, and he hates everyone, I guess, and the principal's an idiot.
And there's there's some kid who is apparently asleep all the time.
Yeah, like they just make a joke about this like it's been established. It hasn't. We've never seen her before.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't, like, you need to establish this stuff. Like, first episodes really need to introduce these concepts. Yeah. And, like, the school is, like, 100 stories tall or something.
And it's all wacky, and there's, like, upside-down staircases and just super cringe-inducing wacky stuff.
Like, not all of this stuff needs to have full, like, episode-length explanations, but, like, yeah, I can expect some weirdness, but... not this much all at once, you know?
Yeah, the reason Archer is so funny is because there's long-running jokes, so when they make a variation on it, or they hint at the joke, it's, if anything, more funny than the actual joke.
Yeah, no, like the whole thing of, in Season 5, where they just refused to use their phrasing joke, and just were constantly trying to either replace it or change it, and, like, they weren't sure how to work with it.
Yeah, where they tell Lana to not say nope.
Yeah. Like,
and then she responds with nope.
Yeah. It was like, but this show, I get that it's for kids, but what the fuck even? What is it? It's just
the whole it's for kids is not an excuse.
It really isn't.
Like, just, it's for kids. Kids aren't stupid. They're easily entertained, but they're not stupid.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you a right to not make. Fucking hell, Avatar was aimed at kids, and that had a much better story than, like, shows aimed at 15, 18-year-olds.
Yeah, it really did.
For Christ's sake, that was aimed at, like, 11-year-olds.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. I think, if you want to check out Wayside, you probably shouldn't, but it's there, and it's got terrible animation, and if
two episodes...
And if this slideshow has given you just a taste, a concept of what it is, you'll know whether or not you want to check it out.
Yeah. Or maybe you just hate yourself.
Yeah, and maybe you want the terrorist to win.
Goddamn commies.
Yeah, anyway. Thanks for watching, I guess.
Yeah. That's it, it's Ogre.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.